I now call the January 20th, 2026 Finance Committee meeting to order at 6:45 PM. Consideration of claims. Chair would entertain a motion for the approval of claims.
Moved for consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $959,745.52. Elon credit card in the amount of $5,493.32. Manual checks in the amount of $70. Payroll and liabilities for 1/9/2026 in the amount of $247,473.38 for a total of $1,212,782.22.
Second?
Have a motion by Councilwoman Johnson, a second by Councilwoman Brothers for consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $959,745.52. Elon credit card in the amount of $5,493.32. Manual checks in the amount of $70. Payroll and liabilities for January 9th, 2026 in the amount of $247,473.38 for a total of $1,212,782.22. Is there any discussion, questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there anything additional to come before the committee this evening? Director Harris.
Mr. Chair, I would like to call your attention to page 3 of 15 of the Finance Committee packet. There is a claim payable for $511,775.03, which is almost half of the amount that you've approved tonight, all going to Century Companies for work performed at the airport for the general aviation rehabilitation project. That is grant reimbursable. The city will be obligated to pay 2.5% of that, and the remaining funds will be grant supported.
Perfect, thank you. Without objection, we'll adjourn the meeting at 6:47 PM.
I now call the January 20th, 2026 regular meeting of the Riverton City Council to order at 7 PM. Councilmember Borders was supposed to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. She's not here, so I asked Councilman Bailey to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, after which, if we could, Councilwoman Brothers will give us the invocation. If all could please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank Thee so much for the blessing to be here and to be able to serve our city and our community. We're so grateful to be able to have members here that also want to serve. And we thank Thee for our police and all of our volunteers and for all that they do. We're grateful for their presentation tonight. And we pray that they will be safe in all that they do. Please help us to make the right decisions tonight as we have good intentions in our heart. We say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
A little bit of deja vu because we started a meeting earlier, but Administrative Services Director, Ms. Harris, could you please conduct the roll call?
Yes, Your Honor. Councilmember Eric Carr.
Here.
Councilmember Rebecca Brothers.
Here?
Councilmember Mike Bailey.
Here.
Councilmember Carla Borders.
Absent.
Councilmember Kyle Larson.
Here.
Councilmember Karen Johnson.
Here.
Mayor Tim Hancock.
I'm here. I'd entertain a motion to excuse Councilwoman Borders from tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Johnson, second by Councilman Bailey. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion passes. I declare we have a quorum. I would entertain a motion for approval of the agenda amending item 14 to read consideration of resolution number 1539 AIP 65 and AIP 66 grant applications.
So moved?
Second.
Councilwoman Brothers with the motion, Councilman Carr with the second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion passes. Next up on the agenda, we have citizen recognition. If Mr. Ezra Schooner is here, I'd appreciate it if he'd be willing to come up. So the first thing that I want to say is we have a lot of really good people in our community. Mr. Schooner is one of them, partly because, and this is not your slogan, but partly because he makes your number 2 his number 1. He's in a great line of work and appreciate your hard work in that. But the other reason why really appreciate you in the community is I was notified that this summer we had some of our pilots and their, so Mr. and Mrs. Williams, which I think are on the Zoom or were planning on being here.
Okay.
They didn't want to say anything, but they did want to be present. Mark Williams is one of our pilots, and he is a wonderful pilot. I've been up with him before. I've helped crew with him. And Ezra, Mr. Schooner was, I think you were actually the sponsor for their balloon this year.
No, I was sponsored for different.
Okay, but you actually were helping them out this year. And Mr. Williams had a medical emergency that had taken place, and law enforcement were there to help out, to make sure that he got where he needed to for help. And Mr. Schooner was there and assisted, even had you drive their truck, I think, and get things sorted out. I think, yeah.
Okay.
I heard. I wasn't there, but I heard. Ironically enough, I was going to be there that day and help out, but I was so glad that you were. And just did a lot to be able to make them feel loved, feel taken care of, and I just want to say how much it means to me personally because of how much that couple means to me. They are a wonderful, Mark's a great pilot, his wife is a wonderful crew chief, and they were effusive about you in a letter. And so to me personally, it means a lot. To the community, I think it meant a lot that you were there when they needed you. And I think to all the balloonists around, it meant a lot to know that they had the help they needed. So I wanted to thank you, and we have a certificate for you. I'll just read this, and I'll come down here and get it to you. Certificate of recognition. The following award is given to Ezra Schooner, presented in honor of outstanding character, selflessness, and civic responsibility. Through decisive action and concern for others, you demonstrated the highest ideals of citizenship and brought distinction to our community. Your efforts embody the spirit of community and serve as an inspiration to all who have the privilege of calling this city home. So I'll come down there and I'll present this to you now.
Well done, thank you. Good job.
I don't know if I missed anything that I needed to say about Mr. Schooner. You did miss out on your speech. You're supposed to give a 30-minute speech. I just want to say how I feel privileged to live in a community where we have people from all walks of life who step up as needed and in unlikely circumstances, something you can't expect. And if I understand correctly, and tell me if I'm wrong, Ezra, but you kind of helped put that balloon away by yourself practically, if I remember correctly from what I read.
Wow.
And I've been a part of putting a balloon, packing a balloon up and putting it away. It takes a lot of people. That's not a one-man job, unless you're Mr. Schooner.
Oh.
So. So now you're going to crew for them in the future and just do it by yourself? Is that the plan?
I guess. Happens to be.
Well, I thank you, and I think our community is better by having people like you here. So thank you again. All right. I am going to, because we have some visitors here, I am going to go first, if we can, with my comments. And this is something that I've been trying to keep as secret as possible, but we have some young people here who helped me out. Kyle Butterfield is a credentialed manager, and I have some videos. How about we play the video first?
Turning red.
And then I'll kind of say what I need to say. How does that sound?
Good evening, Mayor Hancock, council members of Riverton, and any citizens present here tonight. I'm Stu McCraig, and I'm standing here under the watchful eye of our first mayor, Mayor John Louster, of the Committee Board. I'm the city administrator for Sheridan and current president of the Wyoming City Managers Association. On behalf of YOCMA, I'd like to present my heartiest congratulations to Kyle Butterfield on becoming credentialed through the International City County Managers Association. As a credentialed manager myself, I can tell you that this accomplishment reflects a strong commitment to professional excellence, ethical leadership, and a lifelong learning in public service. In order to qualify for this, Kyle had to meet stringent initial qualifications, including at least 7 years as a chief administrative officer, agreement to uphold the highest ethical codes of ICMA, and a commitment to invest in a lifelong learning as part of his profession. Earning the ICMA credential is no small achievement. This program is a voluntary one, and only the most committed individuals choose to undertake it. As opposed to some other professional credentialing programs, this one will be peer-reviewed every year with the requirement for Kyle to demonstrate lessons learned from at least 40 hours of professional development every year from here on out. We're very proud to count Kyle among Wyoming's city management leaders. This honor reflects the highest credit upon himself, the Riverton governing body, and the people of the city of Riverton. Congratulations on this well-deserved milestone.
Wow.
We haven't. Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop there. We have more.
Oh, yeah.
We could say, but wait, there's more.
Is, and you got to find somebody other than Mia to operate this. How do I escape?
Congratulations on your recent credentialing. It's really great to hear that you're being recognized this evening. Wish I could be there, but unfortunately, I also have a council meeting. Thank you so much for your commitment to our profession and the good work you always do. Have a great time, and don't worry about that lunch you owe me. Next one's on me.
Tony.
There's another one, isn't there, Mia? Did you get the other one?
I didn't. I apologize.
Oh.
There's another one, and I'll share that with Kyle later. Gummit.
Yeah, I didn't get another one.
I have it on my phone. We shall see if that is something that other people are going to be able to watch. But, so, I have it on good authority from Anthony Tolstead that there's a certificate that goes along with this, and as much as I tried to bleed Kyle for that certificate, I've not been able to do that. So, because we didn't have one, I had some other certificates made up. This is a certificate of achievement. It says, "To Dad from Olivia." This certificate is for my dad being in ICMA.
Oh, my God.
So I have that one to give to him, and actually, maybe Olivia could present that to him. I think that would be great. I have another one. This is a certificate of achievement by Sarah, your daughter. This certificate is for my dad being in ICMA. So I had these two certificates made up. Mia has them very nicely framed. And when we get the other certificate, which we will, some way or the other, we'll get them if they're out there. Stu tells me there's one. Tony tells me there's one. We'll present those two. But this is, I just want to say, so I need to really tackle down Judge Condor. He's one of our district court judges, and he's out of Lander. And anytime we've had a robing, when a judge has their robe given to him, that sounded kind of weird as I think about it. It's probably not something that people usually talk about. Anytime we've recognized judges, he has a quote that I was trying to find and I couldn't. But it basically says, we shouldn't be making with long speeches and effusive comments unless it's warranted. If it's warranted, then we need to make sure that we don't spare from the compliments and the effusive comments about other people. I could sit here and we could talk for 30 minutes about Kyle. And he does a wonderful job for the city. And I just want to say he does it without going and trying to get recognition for himself. He doesn't do it saying, hey, I'm so cool, I'm the city administrator. He tries to shine the spotlight on either his staff or on the council for the source of things that are good that happen in our community. And that's a rare quality. It's not something that you see a lot in people. We're used to the general attitude that people try to shine the light on themselves. Kyle doesn't do that. And that's one of the great qualities of a leader. It's one of the great qualities of a city administrator. And I thank you for it. And we'll have another frame and another certificate. But for today, this is what we have. So if you come down here, we'll do an official kind of presenting it to you and wait for your speech.
You got it, Brendan. No, you go.
You gotta stand next to him while he holds him.
So cute, oh my gosh. Oh, that's so cute.
Hey, Kyle.
And if you need to keep a secret, Courtney's pretty good at it because when she walked in with the kids, Kyle looked surprised. I was like, I cannot believe you pulled that off. Way to go.
Do you get to shake your hand, Kyle?
Oh yeah, you gotta shake everybody's hand.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
You're the best, Kyle.
Excellent job.
Those are the cutest frame things ever.
We're so proud of you. Good job.
I don't think I'll ever make an offer do this again.
How many kids do you have?
9.
With you and your wife?
Thanks.
I love that. That's great.
Okay. I'll come back for my comments later, but we had to start with that because I know there's bedtimes and sometimes this meeting might go a little late. So we'll start with Councilman Carr.
Thank you, Your Honor. I did not have any meetings, and I do not believe we have a planning commission meeting this week, or do we? Oh, we do. Oh, perfect. Planning commission will be held this Thursday at 5:30 PM here in council chambers.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Councilwoman Brothers.
Awesome. Yeah, we had our rec board meeting on January 12th. It was the annual one where grant meeting, and it went really well. It was really great listening to community members come out with a desire to make the community better. I think the total that we came up with of requests was around 700,000, which we can't award that much. So it'll be really tough narrowing that amount down, right? But it's really cool. Like some of the requests were like middle school weight room, and I mean, just some really cool things that the community wants to do. It was really exciting listening to that. and Carla was there as well. We have an RYC meeting tomorrow from 4 to 5 p.m. here at City Council, so you're welcome to come to that. Last weekend was the Riverton High School Speech and Debate Tournament. I will tell you, every year it gets better and better, but like we got so many compliments on how many judges we had to come out. So I just want to say, praise everyone for that. I just really appreciated all of our judges and our community, and we had food trucks, and Cindy from the chamber, arranged all that, and we had so many people donate for raffles, and we made money that way. We just really appreciate you. It was just wonderful. And then my last thing I just wanted to say, last council meeting, I said, I don't get pictures like my daughter, and then the next day I came to my desk, and Lawson and Aspen drew me some great pictures, and I don't know who reported back. They won't tell me. So whoever it was, thank you, because this made my whole day. I'm going to frame them. So thank you very much to Lawson and Aspen for my pictures. I just really love my community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilwoman Brothers, and thank you for sharing the picture.
That was lovely.
Councilman Bailey.
Thank you, Your Honor. Since our last meeting, I got to attend my first Riverton Youth Council meeting. I enjoyed that very much. They did a really good job. They're working on some cool projects with the Snow Angels and some other stuff. And so we told them that we were holding the snow off until they were ready. So hopefully we're good here. So
Yes.
then I also attended the Force Committee meeting Monday. Again, they've pretty much got next year's plan of projects going. They're working on the Riverview project, which we're sharing with the county. Riverton's portion's about $2.7 million range. And so that'll be completed next year. They got, again, a lot farther along on the water line and that kind of stuff that they got done this fall because of the nice weather. So that'll should proceed well this coming summer. They're gonna do a bunch of pavement preservation, so there'll be slurry sealing and stuff, more streets like they've done in the past. And then with a little luck, we'll have a little money left over to maybe do another project, but we'll see how the rest of those come in. So, and then I attended this last Friday was the airport board meeting, and the year-end numbers are in for 2025. I'm sure some of you have seen that. We had a record-breaking year, 25,775 enplanements at the Riverton Regional Airport, or Central Wyoming Regional Airport. And so that's the most we've ever done. So it's hard to believe that 15 years ago we were worrying about trying to get to 10,000. So here we are at 25. So
That's amazing.
it's awesome. Again, there's always some projects going on every year. And so hopefully we can keep improving the airport and improving the ridership. And I think it's a great asset to our county, and it, brings a lot of people here to visit and to come and do work, and us getting the places that we need to go. It's really nice for me. I used to have to go to Casper, and spend 2 hours in January driving home after you got back from a trip, and that was not any fun. And so it's nice to be 5 minutes from home when you land. So that's about all I have. Thank you.
If that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilman Bailey. And thank you for letting us know about the airport. That's great news. And I remember very well the days when we were like, oh, man, if we could only reach 10,000 enplanements.
Yeah.
Great news. Councilman Larson.
Yesterday was Equality Day, but nevertheless, Solid Waste held their meeting, and we determined on where to put money, and found no unusual activities. But the final thing I have is, if you build it, they will come. And the airport was built to serve the public, and the public has come out in full force. And so with the new hospital on the horizon, that will also be utilized. and the building behind it, which has gone unnamed, will also be utilized too. That park is going to benefit Riverton. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Johnson?
I did not attend any meetings. I did attend the Missoula Children's Theater play, which was absolutely amazing. I was partial though, because I had 2 grandkids in it, so it was a lot of fun. One of them was a woodsman, and he was all brute and no brains, and the other one was little piggy. But it was it was fun. It's great to watch the kids get so into that and have fun. Other than that, I didn't attend anything else. I did have a couple of people reach out on a couple different issues. A lot of concern about the intersection of Country Acres and it'll be 789, but it's where the flashing light is there and the accident that was there. And I don't really have a whole lot of direction other than I believe it's YDOT that has that traffic light. And I did tell them to contact YDOT regarding that. And lots of compliments on the new signage, the new wayfinding signage. A lot of people stop in and say they like how it looks. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Butterfield?
Thank you, Your Honor. I just think for the record, I want to say thank you for the kind recognition, and I want to make sure you know I hated every second of it. But I appreciate it, and the reality is that I did owe Mr. Tolstead a steak dinner, so I'm glad to be relieved of that debt. And, you know, I think it's safe to say that I have so much to learn, and I appreciate that the program requires me to continue to learn because there's so much I want to improve and work on, but your recognition was very kind, and thank you for that. Okay. Appreciated the lieutenants presenting today on the new technology and obviously for your support of that. I think Riverton Police Department is getting to a point where we are setting ourselves apart from other departments. And Lieutenant Warden has been a critical part in that. We're grateful that he's here tonight and appreciate his leadership as well as Chief Hurtado and Lieutenant Martin. But Lieutenant Morton has taken a lead in that. If you remember a year ago when we did our tours, this technology was something that he responded to a question raised by Councilwoman Johnson about what the police department needed. So I'm glad to see us moving forward in that regard and that we are setting ourselves apart as a department. The other thing that is a priority for our police department is training. That has been something that Chief Hurtado has really tried to prioritize. And I'd like to just highlight a few trainings that have been going on recently. Officer Schwegler was participating in a traffic control unit training that allows him to be part of the drug recognition expert school. He'll be traveling to another state to receive a certification very soon. Officers Taylor and Moss also attended advanced roadside impairment training recently in Douglas. Cold weather firearms training is taking place in the month of February. And we also have opened that up to other Fremont County entities to participate with our department in that. Officer Faxon just recently completed 80 hours of new officer training and begins patrol next week. And then Officer Fancher has completed a first and second phase of field training and is currently in phase 3. Detective Sergeant Smits and Detective McCall recently completed a Crimes Against Children in Indian Country training that was put on by the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in South Carolina. That program was a competitive program that they had to apply to participate in, and they were selected. That's just a few items that I think show the investment that our senior team in the police department, our chief and lieutenants, are making into our officers, and I definitely appreciate that. We also have word that the transport van that you approved for purchase a few months ago, I will say, looks to be ready for service in February. So we're grateful for that, and also the Public Works team for facilitating that long preparation of that important van. I have reported to you in the past on grant applications as it relates to some airport items, but I want to underline those again. The federal government opened up the airport terminal program. It was part of the bipartisan infrastructure law. And basically, there were 5 years of competitive grant monies available to improve terminals. We have applied now for the 5th time for these funds. Mr. Toman and his team submitted a $4.9 million application this last week. What it will do is improve the bathrooms, and then the real purpose is to enlarge the hold room, which barely fits 50 passengers right now. And if we ever want to have service from a larger aircraft or have more frequency, we do need a larger hold room. So you, as a council, had approved those submissions in the past, and I just want to make sure you're aware we did just recently apply for the last round of available funds through the airport terminal program. I reported on another grant several months ago. This is a marketing grant that we apply to YDOT to help support commercial air service here in Fremont County. I submitted that grant and then was later told by my cohort at YDOT that I submitted it completely wrong. And he was very kind to say where I did it wrong, but it was more in how I submitted it through their portal. So he walked me through the appropriate way to submit it for consideration, and I was able to do that this week. So that's a $100,000 grant. We do have it in the budget, and it requires 50% match from the city. So I am grateful that I had a friend in Cheyenne tell me where I could improve in that regard.
That's funny.
Mr. Tolman was able to attend the State Transportation Improvement Plan meeting. This is an annual meeting put on by YDOT. One thing to note is the West Main Reconstruction Project. It will be in 2027. As you are aware, the city is participating in that project, especially as it relates to the improvement of utilities, while the surface is being improved for transportation. Mr. Tolman also has informed me that the Riverview Road project will recommence some work in the near future because the weather has been so nice. The contractor will work to install water line along Riverview Road and then make the connection and then charge the line in the near future. The contractor will provide a hardened surface over the cut areas, and then obviously they'll be improved after the winter and spring season once the contractor fully mobilizes to improve the roadway itself. I have two things, and I would appreciate if Ms. Harris handled the last one. But I have good news. Our new administrative assistant, Kiana Rodriguez, delivered a baby today. Healthy baby boy. She's okay with us sharing this information that Camden has joined her family, and I guess by default, the work family, at 12:42 a.m. and 5 pounds, 15 ounces. Mama and baby are healthy. So we're very happy with that. And then Ms. Harris does have an update as it relates to some questions that were raised last meeting about alcohol licenses.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Harris.
Thank you. I just wanted to provide an update regarding Councilman Johnson's concerns regarding some obligations to liquor license holders as they're transferring their licenses. One of the questions came about regarding architectural drawings and sketches and things that were required at the time of application. I was able to speak with Jason Allen, who is the compliance manager with the Wyoming Liquor Division, and he did confirm that Wyoming Statute 124102, our interpretation of that was correct. The requirement for an application to provide a location and architectural drawing only applies if the licensed building is not in existence at the time of transfer. In this instance, the applicant did provide an address to a building that does currently exist. So as such, the provisions have been met, and they certified that as complete. So we are good to go on that one.
Good to know. All right, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Butterfield?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I have three things to add to the effusive statements about Mr. Butterfield. I'm not going to say anything else nice about Mr. Butterfield. Well, maybe later tonight, but just not right now. You've gotten all of them. They're done. So I was able to attend the grand opening for Spudman which was a lot of fun. They have a new location where we had 381 subs. They're in business over there now, and went there. They had some free ice cream that day only. You can't get free ice cream anymore. But went there with my 2 kids, or no, I went there with just my daughter, who had to attend, and with blue rain boots, princess crown, shirt and top that I don't think really matched. Anyway, she's adorable. She's a lot of fun, and it was great because she had to be having me hold her while we took the pictures, so you can go and find the pictures and see her creative outfit. But I enjoyed that and stuck around to actually have a baked potato, and I want to say they're good. So if you want to try a new restaurant in town, and especially for lunch, it was great. So would welcome them to a new location that's, I guess, kind of squarely in city limits from where they were just as you were heading out of town. Had the opportunity to judge at the speech and debate tournament that we had in Riverton, and that was a lot of fun. I would strongly encourage you, and Ms. Harper was there too, and would strongly encourage you in the future, if you have nothing to do or just want to judge 1 or 2 things, to volunteer for that. I appreciated that Rotary really stepped up for that. We had a couple of Rotarians who were there that were judging, other community members who were there and were judging, and we've got a lot of really good youth in our state.
Yeah, we do.
Had a lot of fun, and I will say, I got to judge the finals, I think, for Congress, and there's a lot of people that are like, oh, Congress, that's the worst one to judge, and I'm like, I thought it was the best. I loved it. So I know you, and you left the best. So we had some good people there. So really enjoyed that. And then I also had a letter that I wanted to read that had sent to John Dedamore. I think it'll be pretty clear in terms of what it's about, but I'll just read this here. Dear John, on behalf of the City of Riverton, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude for your incredible tenure of service on the Construction Board of Appeals. Our records indicate that you served on this board since its inception, 1996. To dedicate nearly 30 years of your time and expertise to the elected officials, staff, and citizens of our community is a rare and remarkable achievement. Your consistent presence has provided a foundation of stability and institutional knowledge that has been invaluable to the safety and growth of Riverton. We truly appreciate the unwavering commitment you've shown over the decades. It's with a sincere sense of regret, but also immense respect for your legacy, that we accept your resignation. We wish you the very best in your future endeavors. Thank you for making Riverton a better place to live and build. John Dedamore had served on our Construction Board of Appeals for many years and had said 30 years was enough. Anyone that served on any committee, 1 year is commendable, let alone 30. And so I had kind of brought this up when we had the selection and the for the Construction Board of Appeals for this upcoming year and for the upcoming terms. But I really wanted to express my appreciation for John, and when I had said that before, I just said it in passing, but I wanted to highlight just how long he had been on there and express my gratitude for the many years that he had served. So I think that's it from me. Did I miss anything that I was going to do, Mr. Butterfield?
No, I don't think so.
Song and dance routine, we'll save that for a future day. All right, communication from the floor, citizens' comments, anyone in the audience wishing to address the council regarding an item that's scheduled for a public hearing will be given an opportunity to speak during that public hearing. However, if you wish to address the council on another item, you may speak now. Now, my script says if you want to address the council for something about a public hearing, but our tradition, at least as long as I've been mayor, has been if we have an agenda item, whether it's scheduled for a public hearing or not, I would certainly allow you to speak during that agenda item. Whether you speak then or whether you speak now, though, I would ask you to keep your comments to 5 minutes for individuals, 10 minutes that you would split that up between the members of your group. I would ask that whether you speak then or whether you speak now, address comments and questions to me as the chair. That's just parliamentary procedure. Would ask you to keep items, if you speak during an agenda item, you would keep your issues directed to, I'm sorry, your comments directed to the issue that's under consideration, and would ask you to refrain from the use of indecent, obscene language, fighting words, language that might be disruptive to the orderly discussion of the meeting, personal criticism, ridicule, name calling, that sort of thing. So, if anyone wishes to speak, please come up now.
Mayor, Council, Brett Johnson, thank you for the opportunity to come up and speak with you guys. We are here to officially announce, Councilwoman Johnson's mentioned it a couple times, our March 28th ball gowns and badges for the Fremont County Law Enforcement Foundation. That's not what it's called this year, though. It's called something else. A Night in Blue. Thank you. I forgot. Carol's got some handouts for you there. Carol, of course, board member, Vice President, Amy Marshall. But we wanted to invite all of you to attend. We would really appreciate that. Staff as well.
Thank you.
And I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Marshall and let you know some information that we had for 2025.
Brett conveniently forgot his glasses, so.
That's so rough. Sorry, Brett.
We have given you this information a little bit before, but it's updated some of the grants that our nonprofit has approved. So in 2024, we have done funds for DCI for a basic instructor course and then food for that training. 12 sets of AED pads for Riverton Police Department, and then DuBois PD received accessories and equipment for their holsters for their new department. And then Riverton PD, $1,000 towards fridges and freezers, one for dispatch and one for patrol. And then 2025, we bought a smoker grill for the Riverton PD staff for morale. They cook a lot more healthier food while they're working, since they have that. And they do it as a group, which is neat to see. The sheriff's office, we provided funds for 6 computer stations for their squad room. They were really outdated, so those are new. Riverton Police Department, we fed officers during training again, about 70 to 80 meals for a week. DuBois PD, software for electronic citations. Riverton PD, temporary housing for their new lieutenant while he got settled. Riverton PD lunch for training at the Fire Academy for 2 days for numerous officers. Riverton PD upgraded their rescue phone. It was damaged, so we sent it off and got it fixed. And then just recently, the sheriff's office asked for some equipment for 32 sheriff vehicles to include tow straps and clevises and different items they might need when they're patrolling far out in the county on their own. So those are what we are using. The funds that we raise, every dime raised stays with the law enforcement in Fremont County. So just so you're aware that that's what has been provided thus far. I think the prices are on there, but we changed this year. Our corporate tables are $500, couples tickets are $50, and singles are $30, and then there's a children price as well. So it's a fun night to get dressed up and come support something that's really meaningful and has done a lot for our community. So,
How much do you think you expended last year? Do you have that? If you don't have the numbers handy, I was just curious.
oh, I do actually.
Tammy has a spreadsheet for everything.
I don't doubt that. I was curious. And I think you had reported previously that you also provided food vouchers for each of the law enforcement officers when they were there for the different events, I think like the day in the park, as well as the...
The car crew, fair, all that kind of stuff. They're provided vouchers, and then we get the vouchers when we pay the bill.
That's awesome. I remembered hearing that from this last year and didn't hear you list it.
We always try to get in on the task force too, so we don't always catch it when it's happening. But we always try to get some food to whatever location they're going to be working out of as well.
Oh, you got the inside track, huh?
Well, I asked one of the dispatchers
Thank you. Just curious, thanks, Ms. Marshall.
Sure. Well, our treasurer is fantastic. So just in the grants funded, that doesn't include the food and stuff that we do on our own. For, I think this is just 2025, $16,796.49.
Thank you. That's great work. Well done.
Well, we couldn't do it without the community that we live in, so.
Well, it's been great, and I've been really impressed, and I enjoyed going to ball gowns and badges last year. It was a lot of fun, and look forward to it this year. March 28th, 2026, Fremont County Fairgrounds this time, social hour from 5 o'clock, dinner at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and one last plug, we have a silent and live auction, so we are gathering donations for that. We as a board are small, so we did recruit a few more members for our fundraiser committee, just for some extra help gathering, and then with the event, because it's quite an undertaking, so there are a few others of us that will be out and about asking for donations, so.
How much is it for plate?
50 for a couple, 30 individual, and I think 10 for the children.
Yeah, and then
And that's-
officers are free.
It's like half price from last year,
Okay.
so we've
Yeah,
taken
it's
the
not
first
much at all,
grade.
yeah.
Yep,
Okay,
We're hoping
thank
to
you.
get a lot of people there. We want to get a crowd. We want to have some fun.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, you kind of have to balance that, right? Whether you're going to charge more per plate, but if you're going to be having the auction, that's kind of where.
We're moving to a bigger building this year.
That's great. Okay,
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. We appreciate it.
Thank you. March 28th. Just saying that again. I have to say it a lot. Isn't that what the radio, you're supposed to say it 3 times? March 28th. Night in blue.
Light and blue.
All right, anybody else? Okay, we'll move on then. If there's no other public comment, Administrative Services Director, Ms. Harris, please read the consent agenda items.
Yes, Your Honor. Minutes of the January 6, 2026 regular council meeting, minutes of the January 20th, 2026 Finance Committee meeting, Finance Committee recommendations from January 20th, 2026, municipal court report for the month of December 2025, and plat approval, first long edition.
Thank you. And Councilman Carr, if you could give the Finance Committee report.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Finance Committee met at 6:45 this evening and recommend consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $959,745.52. Elon credit card in the amount of $5,493.32. Manual checks in the amount of $70 even. Payroll and liabilities for January 9th, 2026 in the amount of $247,473.38 for a total of $1,212,782.22.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved?
Second.
Councilwoman Brothers with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. Discussion, amendments?
Your Honor, I'll abstain from the Bailey Enterprises line item on the Finance Committee report, please.
Okay, note that. Any other? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Fiscal year 24, 2025 audit report. Ms. Harris, and I think we have someone online too. Are we still there? Oh, dear.
Oh, I see us.
I'm here.
Ah, great. Well, that's good. Well, we'll have Ms. Harris introduce what we've got going on, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tonight, we're joined by Micah Klinger. He is the partner and owner of Klinger Hagerman LLC, the city's auditing firm, who will be presenting the fiscal year 2024-2025 financial compliance audit report. As many of you know, Micah has worked closely with the city for several years and brings a wealth of experience in financial oversight and management. This report provides an important review of the city's financial practices and helps to ensure we're meeting all state and regulatory requirements. Michael will walk us through the findings, highlight any areas of note, and answer any questions you may have. Micah, thank you for taking the time to be here tonight, and I will turn the floor over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Harris. I am going to go ahead and see if I can share my screen. Let me know if you can see my slides in the council room.
We can.
Perfect.
Well, thank you, Your Honor, members of council, city administrator, and management for having me this evening. This is actually wonderful because I believe this is the first year that we've been able to join via Zoom rather than over a phone call. And so it's nice to be able to see everyone's faces. As you can see, I am coming from sunny Laramie, Wyoming, if you can see my background behind me. So, going to advance my slide. Can you still see my slides?
Yes, sir.
Or
We don't
sorry.
see you, we
Oh,
see the
perfect.
slides.
Perfect, because I'm getting a little bit of both on my screen. So first of all, we're just going to do a brief welcome, go over the results of our audit. There are certain significant audit matters that we are required to communicate to you as at the conclusion of any audit. I'll briefly discuss internal control over financial reporting, provide the results of the single audit, which I'll go into more when we get there, in addition to the passenger facility charge. So professional standards require us to communicate with you regarding matters related to the financial statement audit that are, in our professional judgment, significant and relevant to your responsibilities in overseeing the financial reporting process. Early in the audit, we did provide certain communications that just gave a brief overview of the objectives of the audit and kind of where we would be focusing. And this communication is to kind of come full circle and put a nice pretty bow now that we've concluded and issued our final audit opinions along with the final financial statements. Moving to the next slide, results of our audit. We're happy to report that we have completed our audit of the financial statements as of the year ended June 30th, 2025 for the city of Riverton. Our audit was conducted in accordance with two different sets of auditing standards. First, auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America, and where the city of Riverton is a municipality, there is an additional layer of audit standards that we have to adhere to, and that is government auditing standards. The audit, probably the most important thing in this paragraph is this last sentence right there. This audit of the financial statements does not relieve management or those charged with governance, i.e. council, of your responsibilities in regards to the financial reporting process. The first bullet point on the slide, the objective of our audit was to obtain reasonable assurance rather than absolute. Absolute would be if we were out there looking at every single transaction that the city goes through every single day during the year. Although Ms. Harris, I think we have a good working relationship with Ms. Harris. I think she would be sick and tired if she had to see me all day, every day during the year. The second bullet point, the scope of the work performed was substantially the same as that was communicated early in the audit through that written communications. And the most important point on we issued unmodified opinions on the financial statements and released our report on January 15th, 2026. An unmodified opinion is synonymous with a clean opinion, and that is what we want. There are other pieces of information that are included in your financial statements every year. The first one is called refers to RSI, or required supplementary information, which is information that is required for governments reporting in accordance with government accounting standards that are issued under the GASB. And that information is largely comprised of, there's budgetary comparison information after the notes in your financial statements for both the general fund and the economic development fund. And there's also pension information, which as I previously mentioned, are required supplementary information. The key thing to take note on here is that as part of this, we review that information. We ensure that it agrees to the amounts that are reported in the basic financial statements. But the really the key takeaway here.
Okay. Sorry, every once in a while your audio is cutting out, and it had done so. But please continue.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. And really the last line that's in bold here is just kind of a key thing to note as it relates to required supplementary information that is presented in your financial statements. And that is that we do not express an opinion or provide any assurance on that information, which is consistent with any municipality in the United States of America that undergoes audits. However, we do ensure that it does agree to the information presented in your financial statements. One item to note, there is an additional piece of required supplementary information referred to as the management's discussion and analysis. This is information that is required under government accounting standards. However, the city has not presented that in its financial statements, which I believe it has not for many years, which is okay. The key takeaway is that our opinion on the financial statements is not affected by this missing information. And that is, there is a paragraph in your audit report that does address that. Other additional information that is included in your financial statements, after the notes to the financial statements, there are combining and individual non-major fund financial statements for all of your non-major funds. And then there's also the schedule of expenditures of federal awards and the related notes, and the schedule of expenditures of passenger facility charges. These are items that you have every year in your financial statements, and the key delineation is the thing that's different about this is called supplementary information, and we do give an opinion on this information in relation to the financial statements as a whole. Moving to the next slide, significant audit matters. Management is responsible for the selection and use of appropriate accounting policies. Really the most important thing of note here is that the city's significant accounting practices and policies can be found in Note 1 to the financial statements, where it summarizes all of those policies that are presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and they are consistent year over year. The one bullet point here where I just want to draw your attention to the fact that there were no changes in accounting policies and practices during fiscal year 25 for the city, other than the city implementing a new accounting standard that it was required to implement, referred to as GASB 101 for compensated absences. This new standard just caused the city to have to calculate the liability that they record on their books a little bit differently than was previously the case under the old standards. And based off of that implementation of this standard, there was a restatement of the beginning net position or equity in the city's financial statements. And you'll be able to find that information, a nice summary of that in Note 12 of the city's financial statements. Lastly, we noted no transactions entered into by the city during the year for which there was a lack of authoritative guidance. Moving to the next slide, we just want to draw your attention to the fact that there are certain estimates that are used or certain amounts in your financial statements, which is consistent year over year, where there are estimates used to arrive at those or different assumptions that are used, and we test those assumptions to ensure that they seem reasonable and that the amounts that are being reported are materially correct. And as you can see in the table, we have listed the significant accounting estimates or areas in your financial statements that involve estimates. GASB 87 for related to leases, net pension liabilities, receivables and allowances, and estimated useful life of capital assets. And these are consistent with what the significant estimates were in previous years of the city. Management did not make any significant changes to the processes or significant assumptions used to develop the significant accounting estimates in fiscal year 25 in comparison to previous years. The next 2 or 3 slides are just information that we are required as part of our auditing standards to communicate to council and management at the conclusion of any given audit. The first area for the purposes of this communication is if we had had any disagreements with management or in regards to auditing matters or accounting matters, we'd be required to report that to council. And we are pleased to report that there were no disagreements that arose during the course of our audit. Additionally, management's cooperation was wonderful. We received full access to any individuals that we sought to speak with. We obtained full access to all of the supporting documentation that we requested as part of our management representations, kind of the last piece on this slide. We requested certain representations from management that were included in the management representation letter that was dated the same date of our audit report, which was January 15th. Moving to the next slide, management consultations with other independent accountants. This kind of is similar to whether there had been any disagreements with management. If there had been a case or a situation where there was an accounting matter that management didn't like what Cleaner Hagerman was saying on how to treat something, and they felt very strongly about it and went out and talked to other accountants to see what their opinions were on that. If we were to be aware of that, we would be required to communicate that to council. And to our knowledge, there were no such consultations or disagreements with management or consultations with other accountants. And then just the last paragraph on this slide talks about that we do generally discuss a variety of matters, including the application of accounting principles and auditing standards with management each year, but that in no way, shape, or form is correlated with us being retained as the city's auditors. Moving to the next section, just internal control over financial reporting. In planning and performing the audit of the financial statements, we did consider the city's internal controls over financial reporting. Ms. Harris and her group gets to discuss many different processes in different areas related to the financial statements with us. And really the key here is just to note that we go through that process to help us as part of our risk assessment and our planning of the audit to determine our audit design and where we're going to focus our attention. Really the key takeaway here is that we are required to communicate to council. And this last paragraph here, we are required to communicate in writing if we were to identify any control deficiencies that rise to the level of significant deficiencies or material weaknesses. And we're happy to report that we did not identify any such deficiencies that would require communication to council. This is where I have to throw out the disclaimer here at the bottom, this very bottom paragraph, bottom of the slide. Given those limitations during our audit, we did not identify material weaknesses. However, the disclaimer is that there could still potentially be material weaknesses or significant deficiencies, although there were none identified.
In other words, if you tested every transaction, there may be one, but you didn't test every transaction.
Exactly. That's a good summary. I appreciate that. Just moving on to the next section, the single audit. A single audit is a compliance audit over the federal expenditures or federal awards or grants that the city receives every year. And as part of that, similar to the financial statements, we do evaluate the internal controls over compliance for compliance requirements that are significant or also referred to as direct and material compliance requirements. And then we also test the compliance as well. We're happy to report that we issued an unmodified opinion as part of the single audit for that schedule of expenditures of federal awards in relation to the basic financial statements. The other two things of note that I just want to draw your attention to, kind of the very bottom of the slide. In the financial statements, you'll note that the schedule of expenditures of federal awards had just under $6 million that were expended during fiscal year 25, $5,890,740. And as part of the single audit, we did audit compliance of the airport improvement program, which comprised just under $2.7 million of those total expenditures that were reported on that schedule. That program was audited as a major federal program for the year ended June 30th, 2025. And we're happy to report that as part of our testing of key controls over compliance, that there were no issues noted or identified. Moving on, the passenger facility charge audit, where the city does operate the Central Wyoming Regional Airport. It does cause a passenger facility charge audit to be required to be performed each year as part of the overall audit. And similar to the single audit for federal awards, it's also a compliance audit. It is performed in accordance with the passenger facility charge audit guide for public agencies issued by the Federal Aviation Administration. We're happy to report that we issued an unmodified opinion on the schedule of passenger facility charges in relation to the basic financial statements, similar to the schedule of expenditures of federal awards. And similar to the single audit, we also tested compliance and internal controls with respect to the passenger facility charge program, and we noted no issues. So with that being said, that is, in summary, the results of the audit. Good news. You know, I think it's kind of a testament to the team that Ms. Harris and her team there at the city to be able to have a clean audit, to be able to issue those unmodified opinions, and not to have any issues that rose to the level of needing to be reported as material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. And so, kind of the results that you want as part of the audit. With that, I'll turn it back over to council and open up to any questions that you may have as it pertains to the audit.
All right. Any questions?
Just a thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Appreciate your hard work on this, and certainly appreciate Ms. Harris. I think basically we're talking about a report card, you know, for the for our administrative services department, and for Ms. Harris's hard work. And your report here is not a surprise for those of us who work with Ms. Harris on a regular basis and are impressed with her every single time we see her. But certainly appreciate you reaffirming what we already thought we knew, which is that she and her department do a great job. So thank you for the report.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
if I may, I have distributed the documents that support Micah's report. Obviously, you can take time to review those. Should you have questions, please feel free to reach out to Ms. Harris or myself, and then we would be happy to answer questions, provide additional information. And I know Micah and his team would do the same. And I just want to echo how grateful we are that Mia's on our team. As I have a chance to talk shop with other people around the state, oftentimes I get the response, well, of course, it's because you have Mia. And they mean it as a compliment, and I am able to brag that we don't have issues that some other entities may be working through. So, Mia, thank you for your years of dedication, and really it's not years of dedication, it's daily dedication. Ensuring that the right thing's done every single day, make sure that when the auditors come and do what they're supposed to do for you as a council, that she has the information available for them.
Thank you. And thank you, Micah and your team, for letting us know with a reasonable amount of assurance that we have a good team here. So appreciate your report, and you're welcome to stick around or sign off as you would like.
Your Honor, I'm so sorry. There was one other thing I thought I'd update, if that's okay.
Sure, please.
As I mentioned, Ms. Harris is so much on top of it every single day. The audit is already posted on our website for the public to view.
I gathered. Yes, thank you for that, Mr. Butterfield. Okay. Are you still on, Micah, or have you signed off?
I am still on.
Okay,
I was
great.
getting ready to fall off, so.
All right. Well, thank you for your report and for your hard work, and every time we hear from you, it's always good. So thank you. And Laramie looks different than I remember when I was living there. But. All right, next item on the agenda, we have Ordinance 26001, second reading, underage persons in bars. This is the Title V one. We have a Title IX one that's our next item, but Ms. Harris, if you could please give us your report.
Certainly. Before you this evening is ordinance number 26001 on second reading, which amends section 5.04.010 and 5.04.020 related to alcoholic beverage licensing. The ordinance clarifies the definition of a commercial kitchen and the circumstances under which persons under the age of 21 may enter and remain in licensed establishments. After first reading, the council recommended a minor modification to remove age-related language from the definition of commercial kitchen. The key points for the amendments are that the commercial kitchen must be, it's defined as a fixed permitted kitchen that's actively used for food preparation and service to the public during hours when underage persons are allowed. This gives licensees and enforcement staff a clear standard on when minors may be allowed in licensed buildings. And then underage access, the ordinance clarifies which establishments qualify, outlines supervision, seating, and time requirements, and specifies when underage persons must leave if food service ends or revenue requirements aren't met. These changes don't alter existing policy. They simply make the code easier to read, clarify the intent, and provide better guidance to licensees and staff. We recommend adoption as presented. There's no fiscal impact as far as the budget is concerned, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have related to the proposed changes.
Thank you. And also, if you could please read the ordinance by title only before we get started.
Certainly. If you give me just a second here to find it in my packet. Proposed ordinance number 26-001 on second reading. An ordinance amending Title V, Business Licenses and Regulations, Chapter 5.04, Alcoholic Beverages, Section 5.04.010, Definitions, and Section 5.04020, Sales Establishments generally of the Riverton Municipal Code, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 26-001 on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Carr with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. Discussion.
I'll start
Councilwoman
tonight.
Johnson?
A couple of things. I've read a lot of other ordinances on this, and I am of the mindset that there definitely needs to be some kind of clear separation between the dispensing area and the dining area. In case you haven't been in public lately, kids are feral. They can be feral.
I have 6 of them.
Not speaking directly, but I'm just saying, you know, kids don't read signs. Some can't, some do, some don't. In a new environment, they're going to be tempted to just run and check things out. And I think for the safety of not only the staff, but people that are there dining, in the event that there were something to go on the other side in front of the bar or whatever, I think it gives clear protection to families that are in there eating. And it also keeps little ones away from where they should be. There has been some other bar owners come forward. They're not crazy about the idea. In fact, they're not on board with it at all. But I do agree that we need to have our language in line with the state. But I would move to have clear separation between the dispensing area and the dining area. And then a second thought, and I'm not going to read all this, but I did have somebody reach out, and they brought an interesting point up, which is that there are a lot of youth bands that have been asked to perform, and they wanted to know if there could be exceptions made to performers under the age of 21 that play in a band and can be in the bar later than the 10 o'clock hour discussed. I don't think there's any reason kids need to be in the bar, but I do understand what they're saying here, as it would support local youth, music, education, and community events without changing the overall intent of the ordinance, is what was brought forward. So I try to see it from all sides. I understand where they're going with that.
I performed in a bar when I think I was 16. I'm not going to admit to that, maybe.
Too late.
Your Honor. Having started college as a music performance major, one of our first paying gigs was at a bar. I can say without hesitation that that led to unfortunate consequences.
Oh.
And not that I'm saying, but the point is being able to have that as an option. I mean, now that I think about it, it may have been illegal because at that time the state had its own statute that was restricting that. I mean, our ordinance may have been whatever our ordinance was, but it's an interesting point to bring up. Had bands that do have some young folks in them.
Yeah, and essentially it just says in our community, we often have youth performers and family bands. For example, the Wind River Boys who are invited to play at a restaurant/bar venues during normal dinner hours. It would be helpful to include an exception allowing under 21 performers to remain on the premises while they are actively performing and for reasonable setup and breakdown time. So just I guess to consider that in the wording of some sort, but my main thing that I would like to see is separation added to the language.
Councilman Bailey?
So as I understand it, the ordinance that we're dealing with right now only applies to establishments that are serving 60% food, or is this for the entire spectrum of liquor licenses?
This would only apply, okay, so if they, and this is a good clarification. If there is a commercial kitchen, there's no amount that's, making sure that we're clear on this, Ms. Harris, because this was my understanding last time and I had to look at it again. If there's a commercial kitchen, there's no requirement for amounts or anything like that. You have a commercial kitchen, you can have minors there for the purpose of getting food up until 10 o'clock at night, correct?
Correct. I would like to clarify that we're discussing retail license holders because restaurant license holders and bar and grill license holders are held, their provisions and requirements are held separate. So this particular discussion tonight it actually pertains to retail license holders with commercial kitchens.
Someone that has it's the easiest way to put it is a package, license, or something where you can also be serving there, right? So
On-premise consumption.
on-premise consumption, that's probably the best way to put it. So if you have a bar that has on-premise consumption, that has a commercial kitchen, the proposal here would be to allow minors to be there while they're serving food, as long as the commercial kitchen is open. If the commercial kitchen is closed for whatever reason, you can't have minors there.
And consuming food.
Yes, right. So then the next part of this, though, yeah, exactly.
Oh, well.
Yeah. The next part of this, though, is as well, we are building into this, if there's a business that has 60% of the sales from something besides liquor, they are also allowed to have minors there. So it's kind of, it's almost building, so to speak, a different possibility of a license. And that was reflected with our meeting, being able to discuss if we had something that there was a business that wanted to be selling something else. Most of the money comes from that, but they want to still have minors there. This would make that possible.
I guess, Your Honor, I've talked to a couple of liquor license holders, and I think the challenge becomes to follow the rule, you need a clean, clear-cut line. Okay, so if we get into, what's open and what's not, and what time it is, and, they're in the band, so it's okay, and so I guess that's where I have heartburn, is we're setting people up to be, and even law enforcement, to be going, well, the oven was still on, so it's okay, and there was youngsters there. I'd feel more comfortable with just saying, if you meet the 60% and you're in the food business and you serve alcohol as a sideline to your food business, I think it's okay to have people under 21 there.
Yeah.
I think if you're just, serving a few french fries and nachos to supplement your bar business, that's not where we want people under 21. And I guess I feel the same way a little bit about the band. I understand that's usually where bands play is in bars, but that's irrelevant. We can't say, well, we're going to have a play in the bar and it's okay for the kids to be in the play in the bar. I think if they want to have a play in the restaurant that also serves alcohol, that's a different environment than a bar.
Well, and
And I think it'd be cleaner that way, and I think that's what the public wants, and I think that's what the liquor license holders want, is a clean, clear cut.
Yeah, Your Honor, I mean, I think
ahead.
that you're talking about like some good bright lines that we can enforce, especially because, you know, bar owners need to be able to say to their employees, this is what we're doing, and not these gray lines. And, you know, we don't want bar owners being the enforcers of this. We want the PD to be the enforcers of this. So they need to be able to know, PD needs to be able to know, this is what we're doing. These are what, this is when we're checking it. You know, they need to be able to say, food, you know, food service ends at this point, not the last. Is it when we close the kitchen? Is it the last ticket time? Is it the regular menu only? Like, what are we doing? Because if PD comes in to check, you know, the employees and the owners need to be able to say, this is it. You know, they have enough that they're doing and on their plate. We have to have bright lines. You know, that's the word I would use.
I like the on their plate when we're talking about food. That's good.
Yeah, puns.
I'm a fan of puns, so.
Too.
So, and I would say, I mean, we do have, to a certain extent, and not, I hear what everybody's saying. So first off, it sounds like what you're saying, Councilman Bailey, is there might be some enforcement issues with this. And that sounds like that's the same thing that Councilwoman Brothers is saying.
Yeah.
And then it's also kind of the same thing that Councilwoman Johnson is saying in terms of, we want, if we're going to do this, we want to have it so that it's easy for enforcement or whatever by law enforcement.
Well, it needs to be easy and it needs to be fairly monitored or whatever. But I also think that it's leveling up other business owners. It's going to be confusing when one bar says, yeah, you can come in here and eat french fries and whatever, and another bar says, no, I don't want this at all. And it's technically up to the bar owner whether that's going to happen or not, and if they have the commercial kitchen or not. But to the general public, they don't know if this bar has a commercial kitchen, and they don't know if that bar has a commercial. So which ones are they walking into legally or illegally? There needs to be clear lines about this, and everybody that I've spoken to is adamantly against it. So I don't know if I can say, yeah, our language is in line with the state as to what's allowed, but as far as we're concerned, just if you're not 21, you shouldn't be in a bar.
Well, and I will say the state doesn't have any language anymore. I mean, they've left that up to the communities to figure out to what extent minors.
It gives us the authority to make
Right.
stricter rules, but as far as the state is concerned, they say you can be in a bar up until 10 o'clock as long as there's a commercial kitchen and they're serving food.
I don't think, I don't think that's the state standard right now.
Your Honor, if I may, the state does say that regarding a restaurant liquor license, but they do not address the issue with regard to retail licenses.
Okay, so when you're talking about making that consistent, you're talking about having it so that would be consistent with that in terms of the restaurant license for the package license, which makes sense.
Yes, and if we have businesses here that have the incorrect license, the way that they're serving, then that needs to be addressed. And then it would take a lot off the table. If one needs to have a restaurant license because the bulk of their stuff is restaurant stuff, then that's what they need to do.
Councilman Larson, were you trying to say something earlier?
I was. I'm not aware that we have an audit department. Do we have an audit department that audits all the bars for the 50 or 40 or 60% consumption of X, Y, or Z?
Well,
Do we? The answer is no.
right.
And police officers are not there to check out the till. I mean, come on. Are we in business to have businesses, or are we exclusionary? Do we have a lot of problems with teenagers hanging out in food areas at night when there's McDonald's and Dairy Queen?
That tends to be where they are more often than not, or the Sutherland's parking lot.
Or the Sutherland's parking lot, now that it's better lit?
Yeah.
Any other discussion? I will say, and Councilman Carr, I read your comment as being discouraging towards having people under 21 in the bar with the band.
Correct.
You don't need to go into detail about why that was a bad idea. but-
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
and perhaps this helps with your discussion, I just want to point out what the current code allows. And during our work session a few months ago, some of the problems that you identified that you were hoping to address. So currently, it is allowable in the city of Riverton for a bar to admit people under the age of 21 under certain circumstances. As it currently reads, it says that persons under the age of 21 cannot enter or remain in a licensed building, so the entire building where someone has a license, where the primary source of revenue is from the operation of this, from the sale of alcohol or malt beverages. So the first statement is, if you have a license and the primary source of revenue associated with that license is from the sale of alcohol or malt beverages, and that's basically your retail license, you cannot have people under the age of 21 enter or remain. But then we have a qualifying statement that says, unless, and the first one is, the establishment operates a restaurant with a commercial kitchen where the primary source of revenue is from the operation of the sale of food and not alcohol. And then there's a second condition where it says the establishment operates a commercial kitchen and persons under the age of 21 may enter and remain in the licensed building until the hour of 10 p.m. So that is currently the law that exists in Riverton, and it was identified as somewhat confusing because it wasn't clear if there was an and or an or provision to both of those clauses. So is it, you have a commercial kitchen and you run a restaurant and there's no time limit? Or is there a time limit as well? So that was ambiguous, and I think Ms. Harris has addressed that based on the feedback from your October session. But I think that helps in the sense of how you want to move forward and what you think is appropriate for these businesses. Currently, that's what the city allows, and then what's being proposed is what's been outlined by Ms. Harris.
Well, and I believed, based on the context, that that was an or. So you're saying the establishment is operating a restaurant with a commercial kitchen where the primary source of revenue is from the sale of food, which would be basically a restaurant license.
Or, Your Honor, if I may, a retail license that's running a restaurant. And we do have an example of that in town where it would appear this establishment is a restaurant that has a bar component, but in reality, their license is one that's a retail license.
True.
Okay.
So then the other one is they operate a commercial kitchen, in which case persons under the age of 21 years old may enter or remain until the hour of 10 p.m., which it doesn't matter whether the kitchen is open, doesn't matter whether the kitchen is serving, at least as the way our code is right now. Now, context, you could say that operates is that it's currently open and they could be there until 10 p.m. Mr. Delgadillo? Yes. You were trying to get my attention, please.
I am Rafael Delgadillo with River City Rendezvous, and I reviewed this ordinance. I have to say, first of all, that I think any lawful product purchased lawfully, sold lawfully is allowed, and I would never denigrate anyone's business idea or business plan. People do things differently than I would. But we have issues with this, and it's unfortunate that I'm the only really person that shows up sometimes because, as Clint Eastwood say, a man alone is at risk.
Yeah.
But I have to say, first of all, when you read the ordinance itself, what occurred was there was a retail establishment here, had a retail liquor license. And at the time when it first started, they wanted to introduce families into their events. They have a variety of events. but they were not allowed because youngsters couldn't be in there. So the idea was, they also said at the time, and it may have changed, that we can't always meet the 60-40 split. What we'd like you to do is change the rules so we can have children in, or youngsters in here. The way this has been proposed is not workable, though. First of all, it says that you have to have a commercial kitchen where there's food being served. That's fine, no problem with that part. But it says that someone who's 1 day shy of 18 has to be with the parent or legal guardian. I can't determine who a parent is or a legal guardian. Police department can run a person out for their license, warrants, a restraining order. But I don't know of a registry of legal guardians in the United States that I could, as a private citizen, contact to know if this person is lawfully with this minor. Second of all, the other part of this ordinance says that a person 18 to 1 day shy of 21 is allowed in a bar that has a commercial kitchen beyond the hour of 10 p.m. as long as it's operating. So you could have minors between 18 to 1 day of 21 in a bar eating up until 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, depending when the kitchen closed. So I think that's not the spirit of what we really want in this here. Third, it says specifically that it has to have 60-40 split. But in this ordinance, it says you go back 1 year, and it's audited by a CPA. Well, why does it say that? Because it says that for the reason that that establishes that this business is operating at 60-40. But as we know from financial prospectus, they always state past performance is not indicative of future results. And it's to remind investors that historical returns do not guarantee future success. Just because something occurred in the past doesn't mean it will be in the present. And my understanding, if one of the businesses that wanted to have this changed didn't meet the 60-40 to begin in the past. So for this ordinance to work for them, they would have to go 1 year in the future and show they could do 60-40 before they'd be allowed to have these youngsters in there. Now, from the side of compliance, I've been on both sides of the street on this. And if police come to do a compliance check, there's 4 things involved. The kitchen is operating. It's not yet 10 o'clock for those that are 1 day shy of 18. They're with the parent or legal guardian, and it's 60-40. Now, let's say all those have to be operating at the time. But let's say you want to do a 60-40 check. You can go to Restaurateur. I've talked to them. They have software through their point of sale systems where they can show the split. Takes a little time, a little intrusive, but they can do it. But that's a point in time. It may not be 60-40 at that moment, but at the end of the day, it may be. Or I might get into a situation where it's 55-45, and I realize I'm out of compliance. The last hour, everything's happy hour price, half price on liquor. Why? Because now I can make it 40. Also, sales different. Dinner time, people come, that's happy hour. A lot of places do half-price drinks or $1 off or whatever they decide to do, but food isn't discounted. At that point in time, food will be 80%. Drinks will be 20%. As the dinner passes, it can reverse. It could be 80, 20%. So I think that's really hard to do. I think the spirit of this ordinance was to have families go into a place when there was events, and we were going to waive the requirement that they could bring them in there. But if they couldn't comply before 60-40 before, why put that in now? I think if you want to have an ordinance like this, just say simply, under 21 can go into this bar with the working kitchen accompanied by an adult, and leave it there. The idea is that the adult has these other younger people with them, and somehow they have either a family connection or they're friends, but they'll look out for them. So I think that's how you could clear this up. Because for me, from my point of view, there's no way I can enforce that properly. I can't identify the people. So one of the very important things in this ordinance, I can't comply with. You know, business is risky. We take our capital, sometimes we get a bank loan, we go and we operate this business, and we take that risk. I often say, you know, the difficult I do every day. The impossible takes longer. But uncertainty I can deal with. And this has too much problematic issues with it. And there's another side of this too. The public, as someone alluded to, isn't always aware of the ordinances the way you and I might be. I can see a situation where, yes, we can allow these people with children into our establishment if we have the commercial kitchen and we have their full retail liquor license. But I've talked to other bar owners. They don't want to do it. They say, yeah, the city can allow us, but I have the right to refuse service to anyone. I'm just not going to allow it. And that's okay as long as it's not discriminatory. But I have the other side too, because I've been on the other side, where a parent with their children can say, I have a legal right to be here. City council passed that ordinance and gave me that right.
Okay.
I don't want that problem. Again, if a business, understanding all of this, still wants to involve itself and go through all of this, that's on them. I'm supportive of it because we have different business models. But to me, there's another aspect. Every time I come to a meeting, and I've been coming for a while now, I see that sometimes ordinances go on 1, 2, and 3 readings, and they're altered all the time. And what started off as 1 is completely unrecognizable by the 3rd. Mm-hmm. I can't be here all the time, and my stakeholders can't be here all the time. It's possible to pass an ordinance on the 3rd reading where we're not here, but we're held accountable. We don't know what's in it. And that's kind of like Congress. Pass this legislation, then you can read what's in it. Okay. And I don't think that's the proper way to do business. So those are my objections to it. I think basically what I would recommend, return this to city staff, get the stakeholders, see if we can fine tune this, or maybe not, but table it until then. Otherwise, we're going to spend a lot of time right now trying to change the wording, direction, and this and that, and it might be better served with the meeting, with the stakeholders, and they can make their position again known. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Delgadillo. And I think that's a good point. We could sit here and spin our wheels for another hour or so.
Or 3.
Or 3, depending on the night.
Your Honor, I move to table this until we can work out some of these kinks. I'll try it again this week and move to table the issue.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilwoman Johnson to table. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Larson. I'm trying to remember if this is a, nope, this is
we
not
can't
a
discuss,
discussion
yeah.
one. All in favor of tabling passage of ordinance 26001 on second reading? Tabling would be until our next regular meeting, is that right, Councilwoman Johnson?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay.
Nay.
I vote aye. Motion passes. We'll come back and discuss some more.
Your Honor.
Great.
Your Honor, can I just say, Mr. Delgadillo, I appreciate you coming in and giving your perspective on things. I think it comes with a lot of common sense behind what you're saying, and it makes sense. And I just want to say I appreciate you coming up to give your input.
Councilman Larson.
And
Bailey.
Oh,
I go by anything. Your Honor, I would move that we instruct staff to set up a meeting before our next regular meeting, that we could bring the liquor license holders in to have a work session, discussion, whatever you want to call it.
You thinking this would be what, next Tuesday?
Yeah, if we're sticking with Tuesday, that's the only day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be in town.
Let's do it anyway.
I can't, and I'll participate by phone.
I was gonna say, you could, you're very welcome to participate by phone or whatever if we wanna do that. I think that makes sense.
From the beach in Florida.
Don't
Good.
participate by
Perfect.
phone from the.
Just don't show us a picture.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
second
no, it
that.
comes with all of
But
it.
it snowed in Florida this
Not
last
where I'm
couple of
going.
days.
But I would like to be present for that meeting, and so if we could,
Well, if
I'll be back on the 2nd. I mean,
cell phones there, we'll listen.
I'm not calling in on my vacation, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
We have, our next regular meeting is February 3rd. We don't have to have this on a Tuesday night. I mean, even the fact that Mr. Delgadillo is the only liquor license holder here tonight, that might not be the best night to do it. Would there be another time that we would want to do that? Or we could do it Tuesday night, and you could kind of give us whatever feedback before that.
On the 27th, is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm. But we could do another time too. Heck, we could do the
I could do Monday, the 26th.
26th.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
You'd be able to do Monday? I could do Monday. I do office hours Monday night. We could even do 5 o'clock, so we're not keeping staff here that much later.
I could do it anytime on Monday, so.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, Ms. Harris and I were coordinating just advertisements and notice requirements for a work session. And so I missed the date. Were you looking at February 2nd or Monday, the 26th?
We could do either, February 2nd or Monday, the 26th. February 2nd is
Second.
not as easy. 26th is, I guess, what we're talking about, but
Does that give us enough time to advertise? Probably not.
Your Honor, I believe it does to hit either of those Mondays. I think we just need your direction on which Monday you want to do that.
26th, if we could.
Councilman Carr?
I think the 26th makes the most sense because otherwise, any conversation or decisions that come out of a meeting on the 2nd, staff doesn't have time to turn around and get something on the agenda.
Feels like they have a gun to their head.
Well, having been there, it's an unrealistic turnaround time. I also would like to comment, I empathize with the statement of ordinances changing from reading to reading to reading. And so that's the reason I voted nay on tabling. I'd almost rather kill the ordinance now, come back with something after the discussion. That's the only reason that I voted nay. So just wanted to clarify that.
That's fine. And you're not going to ever get any criticism from me for how anybody votes. I vote a lot of different ways. Depends on the day. How would Monday work for you if we did that Monday?
I believe so, yes.
I don't want to sit here and work to try to make it so Councilwoman Johnson can be here and then have somebody else not be available. Does that make sense? I'm available on Monday because I set that aside for office hours anyway, so.
I'll be
fine.
traveling later in the week, but yes, Monday.
That Monday would be all right.
It's actually better than the 2nd.
Councilwoman
That
Brothers?
works. Yep.
Councilman Larson?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Your Honor, just point of order, I think the motion then for clarification is to have a work session at 5 PM, Monday, January 26th, and there is not yet a second on this.
Yep.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
I seconded it.
Oh, she seconded.
We missed that. Okay.
Second.
Well, we honed down the motion language very well as a team, if not.
You're fine.
You've got
Second.
a lot of moving parts.
Yep.
I'm sorry for missing that.
No, you're fine.
Any other discussion on that? Next Monday, 5 PM, we'll advertise for as many liquor license holders as we can get here and discuss it. And I'd want to make sure that as best as we can, the two that have been talking about this, if we want to try to reach out to them, I think that'd be appropriate. So, okay. Sounds good. All right. All those in favor? I mean, usually we don't necessarily vote about a work session, but we have a motion, and I don't want to just leave it hanging, so all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. We'll set that up for next Monday then. Tell your friends, Mr. Delgadillo. Consideration of ordinance 26002, second reading. We could have a motion to table this too, and we could actually probably have that even before we have the report from the Administrative Services Director.
I would so move.
Okay,
I'll second.
we have a motion to table this by Councilman Bailey, second by Councilwoman Johnson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. That will be tabled as well,
To be included in our discussion on the 26th.
to be included in our discussion on the 26th. Okay, great. We've been trying not to rush into this. I mean, that's why we had the work session and that sort of thing, but we also, kind of at the work session, it was more so us discussing and not as much feedback, so I think it'd be good. All right, we'll move on to our next item then. Resolution 1539, AIP 65 and AIP 66 grant applications. Mr. Tolman, is this yours?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Please, go ahead.
Thank you. Resolution 1539 supports 2 grant applications. These applications are they're AIP grants, Airport Improvement Project grants. The first one is number 356-0024-065-2026. So we call the AIP 65. The other one is similar except just with number 66 in there as well. So these 2 grants are for FAA grants, and they're corresponding grants from the Aeronautics Division of the Wyoming Department of Transportation. They support the rehabilitation of Taxiway D or Taxiway Delta and the lighting upgrades that go along with that taxiway. And the taxiway was first constructed in 2006, and it was maintained throughout, but now it's getting to a point where the asphalt needs rehabilitated throughout the taxiway. So the lighting project as well has been kind of an ongoing need at the airport. This is the crosswind taxiway, but then the lighting in that has received numerous faults and grounding throughout. So when pilots come in and they squawk to light up the airport, these lights light up, but the staff has to continually come out and update the lighting. So this would be for an LED lighting upgrade at the airport as well there. So I do want to introduce as well with our Dura, our consultant, engineering consultant, Wes Werbelow is in the audience as well. He drove down from Cody here tonight to answer any questions, but I do have just a little bit more I'll cover on this grant funding for this airport project, and then he's here to support any questions as well. So the grant, this project was put into the capital improvement plan and supported by the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, and the Aeronautics Division of the Wyoming Department of Transportation. And the grant applications through the AIP program would be a total of $2,842,106 in funds. 96% of that would come from FAA entitlement funds, and then also from AIG funds. These are this fiscal year, which the federal fiscal year starts in October, so these grants are allocated in this fiscal year for this project. This resolution then would support our Dura group to apply for these grants with the city's help. Then also the grants would need to be budgeted, so the city portion of this would be 2.5% of that 2.8 million. That would be roughly $71,000, not roughly, it would be $71,053. The state would also match this project at 2.5% as well, at $71,053 as well. So, and then the federal portion of this project would be right at 2.7 million. So with that, I'll answer any questions and also invite Wes up here to answer questions as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Harris, could you read Resolution 1539 by title only?
Certainly. Resolution number 1539, a resolution of the governing body of the City of Riverton supporting the application of Airport Improvement Program Grant Number 3-56-0024-065-2026 and Grant Number 3-56-0024-66-2026 from the Federal Aviation Administration and corresponding grants from the Aeronautics Division of the Wyoming Department of Transportation.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 1539, supporting the application for grant funds to cover association with the Taxiway D rehab and lighting upgrade project.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. Discussion?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
this is a much-needed program, especially the lighting. We've probably spent, I don't know how many tens of thousands of dollars on light bulbs with this. We've got wiring problems on that runway, and so this is huge. It'll save the city a ton of money to get this done.
In repairs and maintenance and electricity
Exactly.
And time.
and time.
Oh, this has been a complaint for a while,
It has,
to change these out.
Yeah, but it's 95.5. We like that.
Yes. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Thank you,
Thank you.
Tolman. And then we'll talk to you now about the resident project representative agreement, Riverview Road.
Thank you, Your
Your
Honor.
report. Mr. Werbelow, sorry.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for all that our Durham group does for us. Mr. Tolman.
Thank you, Your Honor. In front of you is an MOU. It's actually an MOU, amendment with the county. It was just approved today by the county commissioners. This would be an amendment for the construction services on the Riverview Road project. JUB is the engineer on this project, formerly Sage Civil Engineers out of Cody, Wyoming. Same location as Mr. Werbelow is out of. Again, this project would replace the section of Riverview Road from Fire Drive to Ryan Road. The commissioners did vote to award this project to Alexander Excavation and the tune of just over $4.6 million. The city's provided them the concurrence. The city would take on Schedule B of this project, which would be Major Hill. And then the original MOU for this project through the engineering firm, which was JUB, was covered at a 50-50 split. What this does is it provides an amendment to that original MOU at the 50-50 split to cover construction services by the engineer. These services originally estimated around $450,000 for the entire project. Were held off. The city provided in-house services to oversee the waterline installation of the project. And then, as we mentioned earlier, the contractor would go back with a little bit more waterline work, even hook up the west portion of the waterline. Now with that work underway and done, the city took care of construction inspection on that portion. The county and the city then went back to JOB and said, now what would be the cost for construction services? That came in about $250,000. So what would be approving tonight is an MOU with the engineer to the tune of not to exceed $250,000. This would cover items such as administration of the contract documents, observance of construction, and then they would act as the resident project representative, or the RPR, the city's representative on the project itself, RPR services. They would also take on things such as clarification, interpretations to the plans and contract documents. They will handle any change orders, God forbid, but there are good change orders as well. So inspections and testing, and then any applications for payment, among other items along the project too. The city would still be a part of this project, but JUB then want to provide the professional expertise to oversee the project. So often these fees amount to about 10% of the total project cost. So it would be around $460,000 for this type of a fee. With this agreement, we would be in about 5% of the total project cost. And then just again, I'll reiterate that the city portion of the total project is $2.775 million, where the county takes on $1.8 million currently. So these funds would come from the 1% fund, which is paying for the project currently. And that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to approve the amendment to the MOU with Fremont County for the Riverview Road Reconstruction Project to include construction phase services by JUB Engineers.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Brothers with the motion, Councilman Larson with the second. Discussion?
Your Honor, I do have a question. The verbiage for the 1% funds, I mean, does that cover
Engineering services?
engineering services? Because I don't, when I read it, it didn't come across to me as that. So I'm just looking for clarification on that, because it didn't seem to me like the 1% should be used for that.
Your Honor,
Mr. Toman?
the 1% covers the installation of utilities, water, sewer, and infrastructure. And so it's the replacement, which include engineering that needs to be done to replace that infrastructure as well.
Right, but these are consulting services, correct?
These are, yeah. Yep. The city often does this type of work, but when it gets over and above what the city can do, then we go out for consultants for this work.
We have, I guess the point is, I hear your question, Councilwoman Johnson. I would say that, well, here's my question for you, Mr. Tolman, if you can answer it, or maybe Mr. Butterfield. Do we have any comparable situations where we've had consulting paid for out of the 1% funds in the past?
Your Honor, I can help answer that, and then obviously Director Tolman can provide information. And we can look up the ballot language. I didn't have a chance to do that, but Mr. Tolman is correct that as passed, the 1% funds are to be used to support infrastructure improvements as they relate to roads, water, and sewer and bridges, if I remember correctly. Over the years that we've had the optional 1% tax, for that purpose, we've used very little for engineering services, and that's only because we've tried to prioritize the funds to go to the street, so to speak. And also because we've had talented staff that have been able to design projects in-house. That being said, not every project that have been funded by the 1% fund, not every project was designed in-house. That was a long way to get to that point. For example, several years ago, we utilized a consultant to design Sunset Drive because the scope of that project was such that we didn't have the ability to design that in-house. Years ago, we also utilized an engineer to do a significant concrete project throughout town. And then this project in particular, JUB was used for the design services and paid for out of the 1% fund. I believe you as a council would need to decide if you feel that engineering services are appropriate associate costs to infrastructure improvement, or if you'd rather have those cost covers only to the construction itself. And I believe that's a decision you as a council would have to make.
I do have the ballot language here. Shall the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Fremont, State of Wyoming be authorized to impose a general purpose excise tax of 1% upon resale sales of tangible personal property, admissions, and services made within the county, the purpose of which is for infrastructure projects related to streets, roads, bridges, water, and sewer utilities. If passed, the tax would be in place for a 4-year term and resubmitted to voters at the next general election.
So, Your Honor.
Mr. Bailey?
Again, I think all of these projects have to have engineering of some kind. And sometimes we can absorb that within the city department and not have to pay an outside engineering firm to do that. But I think the engineering has to go with it. If I'm gonna go build a garage, I have to have somebody design it. I gotta have the design approved by the city building department. And so, I mean, that's an integral part of any of these projects is getting the engineering and making sure that the construction happens the way it's supposed to as per the plans. And so, I mean, I think it's definitely part of the project and would be included in those items, so.
Well, I just would like to make clear, I'm not opposed to having an engineer actually do this, but I am adamant that we're adhering to what taxpayers voted for. They didn't pay, or they didn't, I am interpreting that as the money's to go towards road, bridges, water, sewer, all of this stuff. So just because the city can't afford it doesn't mean that it should go under the tax of the 1%. That's, the ballot language doesn't say it covers consult services. And just because we've used it previously doesn't mean that we've been doing it correctly. So I would like some clarification on that. If that money can be used for consultation, then okay. But if it's not, if that's not what its intended purpose was for, then we need to look at finding the funding from that, from somewhere else.
Your Honor.
Councilman Carr?
Try and choose my words carefully, but you can't have one without the other. To do infrastructure improvements, you have to have the engineering that goes along with it, because while we have amazing city staff, they may or may not have the expertise or the niche knowledge to design and build, bid, construct, and observe the construction of that infrastructure. So
There's no question about that. I'm just
we
saying.
can't have one without the other. And as we look at the total project, you know, the scale of this project, or the magnitude, especially of this size, 5% is an exceptional value. That's fact. And so when we talk about the ballot initiative and whether or not we could use consultants, it may unfortunately be implied, but we have to have those services to finish the project.
Councilman Carr?
I-
You were saying something else. I'm sorry.
Like I said, I don't disagree that these services need to be had, but we need to be using the correct funding for it.
I guess as I read, the purpose of which is for infrastructure projects related to streets, roads, bridges, water and sewer utilities. That's broad enough language that I think that the
It's
engineering
implied.
consulting services would be included. And I hear what you're saying. I think anytime we talk about anything with the 1% funds, I think you're right. We need to always go back to the ballot language, but there's people that look at the ballot language and they read into that certain things are not included, and read into that certain things that maybe are included. But to me, I think if we're saying the purpose of which is for infrastructure projects, I mean, think of a bridge, for example. That's mainly engineering. I mean, when it comes to the actual build of that, that's a lot less than if you had 5% of the engineering for a bridge, that's probably not a very good bridge, honestly. But, so I think it's broad enough. I think it's a good question, though.
Can you help me understand who the original consultant was on this?
Was JUB Engineers.
So it was okay, so I guess I'm confused. Weren't they included in the original?
Maybe I can help a little bit, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
JUB was hired for design services for this project. They were hired by the county, by Fremont County. And then the city signed an MOU with Fremont County. So it is a county project. And then when we got into construction services with an engineer, typically the city's taken this on. Since I've been here, the city's mostly taken these services on for projects. And actually, for most projects, there's been 4 projects in the past 6 years that the city's hired a consultant on. This is one of, and the city didn't hire this one, so there's been 3, in the past 6 years that the city's hired a consultant on. Those have all been almost over close to $2 million projects. So as we get into larger projects, that's when the consultants are hired for these projects. This would be for design service or for construction services.
So it wasn't, so it's for construction services, not design services. So it's two separate, so what they were originally hired for, this is completely different.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, now I understand. Thank you.
Your Honor, and I think to add to that, it would be quality control services. So as the contractor's working on the water line, the trenching, and then the paving, what JUB will do with this contract amendment is ensure that it's built to proper engineering standards to ensure that road will last. And we have assurance that the taxpayer dollars are going as far as possible. So they'll be doing a lot of the project management, quality control, quality assurance, and working in conjunction with the contractor that's hired.
Okay,
Good questions.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
I just needed clarification, so.
Oh, perfect. I think it's good. And I think having us go back to the ballot verbiage is, that's never a negative. Any other comments, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. We don't have an executive session planned. Anybody motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilman Carr with the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. 9:03, we are adjourned.
Wow.
Setting record.